When it comes to our craft, we turn to color to express our creativity and shake up our routine. Just scroll Pinterest for a few minutes and you'll find colorwork projects all over. You have tapestry, intarsia, stranded, mosaic, and probably lots of others I didn't mention. With all of this colorful inspiration around us, it's hard not to be inspired. And I don't know if you're like me, but all of that inspiration makes me want to create something of my own. You could sketch it out on graph paper or use Excel if you have an infinite amount of patience. But allow me to show you a better alternative. Stitch Fiddle. Sure, it doesn't look high-tech and the website is pretty bare, but what it lacks in first impressions, it completely makes up for in functionality. Seriously though, if you want to make a color diagram easy, this is the program to use. And just for fun, let's put 3 minutes on the clock because I bet it takes way less than that to set up your new account and get started with your design. Go to www.stitchfiddle.com/en for me because I'm in the US. And we can already use this program as it is. We don't actually need to create an account, but we're going to do that just to show you how it's done. Find the sign up button here, click that. Do you already have an account? I technically do. I'm going to create a new one just to show you how it's done. So you'll select I'm new. And create account. And just like that, you can technically still use the program, but there is one more step you'll need to take. Confirm by email. You'll just go ahead and click that link and email confirmed. Then all you need to do is refresh that page. That little message will go away about needing to confirm your account, and with this fresh new account, we can start a new project. By the way, this isn't just good for crocheting and knitting. If you also do some cross stitch or some embroidery, this is a great way to come up with those patterns as well. I'm going to select crochet, and we have a couple of options here. We can choose a corner to corner project if that's the type of color diagram you want to create. You would select that option. Crochet with colors. This is going to be more of like your color work. Tunisian crochet, freeform filet crochet. Honestly, I haven't really used many of those options. I tend to stick to the crochet with colors. And here's where the fun stuff gets started. Here's where the fun part starts. I like to choose an empty chart because I like to create my own designs. However, you can import a picture and create a color diagram for a picture and create QR code. Honestly, I have never used that. If you do, let me know in the comments. I would love to figure that out. So for now, let's choose empty diagram or empty chart. And we can choose our grid size. So if you know how many stitches and how many rows you need in your project, you could add that here. If you're like me most of the time and you're kind of letting the design guide the way, you don't really know this information yet. So you can start with something basic like we see here, 20 columns and 20 rows, and create chart. And this is what your basic chart will look like. Let's say for now, you want to make a very simple color diagram and you want to use 2 colors, but it's not one of the colors that you see here. So you can add your own color. We're gonna add. We have just a basic color picker here, but we can also get really, really detailed with it. If you know the hex code, Google it. You'll be able to figure out the hex code of pretty much any color you like. But if you know that information, you can type it in here. If you're looking for something more basic, like I'm going to use a dark gray, then I will first just add 1 color at a time. So add the first color and we will add another. Let's say I want to use kind of like an aqua, light teal, which is totally something I would do. And I've got my 2 colors there. Now, if you've tried creating a color diagram from a program like Excel or Google Sheets, you know how much of a nightmare it is. So if you were using Excel or Google Sheets, you'd have to highlight the cells and then color them, and it's just a big process. Here, it's a lot more simple. So I have my aqua color selected. That's why there's this darker color box around it. And all I need to do to change one of these colors, one of these cells, that color, is click on it. That's it. How awesome is that? Very, very cool. Let's say if you need the whole box, the whole area to be colored this way, you can click and drag. So click on the one and drag over. And you can keep dragging up, and that will color all of your boxes this aqua. So wherever you touch your cursor, it's going to change that color. Now, let's say you made a mistake and you want to go back to this blank color. I'm going to select the white box here, and I can click on the cells that I want to go back to normal. There's also an undo button up here. If you feel a little bit more comfortable with that, that is certainly an option. We'll take the whole thing back to white once again. But you probably want to do some kind of design here, so let's see how we would do that. Let's say we want to create a basic snowflake. So I would have the idea in my head. A lot of times I will play around with this and just see how it goes. And you can always, again, use that undo button to clean things up. Now you can see how easy it is to get rid of those. And we'll just double check. We've got 4 across each side, top and bottom. So we're good there. We'll make these a little bit longer so they don't look so funny. The design is getting a little bit bigger than the chart. Remember how I said a lot of times the design just kind of leads the way, and sometimes you need to add more cells and more rows, and the way you would do that is pretty simple. You would go up to your edit button and you can select either of these 2 options. You have add column left, add column right, and add row above, and add row below. So I'm feeling like I need a couple of rows all the way around. Okay, so that makes my chart a little bit bigger. I have some more room to get a little more creative with this snowflake. Now there's a couple other things that we can do. Right now it is an untitled chart, so we are going to title it Snowflake and apply. Now one of the things I would encourage you to do is just go into this program and see what's available. Honestly, I haven't explored everything that Stitch Fiddle has to offer, but I haven't really had to. It's just very intuitive and it does exactly what I need it to do. All right, so when we get back to the home page, we can see our snowflake pattern is there, but I actually forgot to fill in part of. There we go. Okay, so if you go back to your home page, we can see the chart that we just created here, our snowflakes. So if you wanted to go back into that, you would just click here, show all if you had a lot more than one, and create new. If you come back to this at a later date, you would hit create new. You would go through that whole process to get started again. And this is all done with the free version. And by the way, this is not paid by Stitch Fiddle. It's not sponsored by Stitch Fiddle. They have no idea I'm making this video. Just to see what we could get for our money should we need to do that or want to do that. We're looking at $2.50 per month for a premium version. We've got some supported platforms, supported devices, no installation required. Obviously, you can access it all through the browser, which is really great. I have not tried a mobile version. Honestly, I don't know that I would do something like this on a mobile device, on my phone or on my tablet. I would definitely stick with a computer on this one. But if you have tried the mobile and you know it's great or not, let us know that in the comments too. All right, so here's where we get to the nitty-gritty. The free version, we get 15 free charts. We have unlimited charts with the premium. So again, $2.50 per month. It's not actually that bad. Unique colors, symbols per chart, we get 50, and we get 200 with the premium. Grid size, maximum, so we've got a limit there. And we can see all of this other, I'm not gonna read all of this. You guys can read this just fine. I don't wanna bore you with all of those details and reading that, but you can see you do get quite a few things with the premium version, so you might find that it's worth it to you. And now for your burning question, what can you actually do with your color chart legally? Now, I am going to say first and foremost, I am not a lawyer. I do not pretend to be a lawyer. I do not pretend to know anything about this. So I am not giving you advice on how you could or how you should use these charts, but what I am going to do is show you the frequently asked questions where Stitch Fiddle answers that for us. Well, Stitch Fiddle tells us right here on their website under the question, can I add the chart I've designed to a Word document for sale and distribution? Yes, you can do whatever you want with your own color charts. Another useful one here is, do I need to credit Stitch Fiddle when I publish my work? That's relatable to you bloggers. They say right here, you don't need to credit them. Well, it's a great resource, so I don't mind mentioning them at all. I just am one designer who is really thrilled about a program, a software that's been making my life easier, and I want you to know about it because I think you'll love it, and I think it might make your life easier too. And I want them to do well as a company because if they do well, then we get to continue using this awesome resource. This was, however, brought to you by me and my new coffee club. With a somewhat newer addition of Patreon to my arsenal of tools, I'm able to help fund this YouTube channel directly without the added pressure to sell, so I can share the things I love without the added pressure to sell. Many of you ask, do you do shoutouts? And that's where the coffee club comes in. Buy me a digital coffee and I'll mention your name at the end of a B.Hooked video, and while you remain in the club, you'll see your name displayed with other coffee clubbers at the end of the videos published here on YouTube during your stay in the coffee club. And it's brand new right now, guys, so if you join today, you'll be one of the first shoutouts to ever happen on this channel. If you want in, check the description below for a link, or search for B.Hooked on Patreon. Way back in 2018, I had a chat with Jess from Make and Do Crew on the B.Hooked podcast, and learned about Stitch Fiddle for the first time. We were talking about corner-to-corner projects and how she creates her color diagrams. It's a good listen if it's something you're interested in. For that person who is just dying to try corner to corner, maybe they've tried the very basics, they understand the stitch concept, but they want to start designing. Do you have any tips on how to create those graphs?
I do. And this used to be really hard or kind of analog, because you can always just get some graph paper and like draw the design that you want to make. And then I know some people use Excel. If you're like an Excel wizard,
Yeah.
that is not me. But if you are, then use those skills and make a graph.
Yeah.
But there is a really fun option now, and it's called stitchfiddle.com. And they have a free and a paid version of it. What you get with the paid version is a few more perks of functionality, but also you can save an unlimited number of charts. But if you're just dipping your toe in the water of designing something, you can just create a free account. And it is a software that's designed specifically for knitters and crocheters and cross stitchers to design your own stitch charts and graphs. So it basically is like a digital graph paper that you can create your own color palette and then just design, and making any corrections so quickly because it's all digital versus like graph paper where you're erasing it or something. It is what has enabled me to really love Corner to Corner, because I think without it, I wouldn't have the patience for like just figuring some of the stuff out. You can even upload a picture and the software will try to process it into a graph.
Oh, cool.
So, but it's also awesome because you can create words by just designing your own typography in the graph. Any letter that you can make out of pixels, you can kind of redraw in this program. You can take your graph then and translate it into written instructions. So it will tell you like row 7 equals 4 blues and then 3 reds and then 4 oranges. And so it's kind of this nice hybrid between reading a written crochet pattern in the simplest form, but also having this visual to double check it with. And so I find that doing those two things together is the best way to avoid mistakes for me when I'm doing color work. And Stitch Fiddle kind of enables all of that in your design pretty easily and seamlessly.
Wow, I have never heard of that before, but gosh, that's just a game changer. And if you're wondering, if is the podcast ever going to come back? It is. I promise. Just not right now. That conversation opened up a whole new world of design possibilities for me, and I hope this video does that for you too. If you enjoyed watching today, then hit that like button. It actually does help. And if you're not subscribed already, hey there, my name is Brittany, and I've made it my life's mission to help you make something that makes you happy. So hit the subscribe button so I can keep inspiring you to do that. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Hey, Future Brittany here with a special coffee club shout out for Jose A. Binks, who found and joined the coffee club before we actually made our announcement earlier in this video. How cool is that? Jose A. Binks, thank you so much for being the first person in the coffee club. Your support means the absolute world to me, and this cup of joe will go a long way to helping me help you make something that makes you happy. And I will very much enjoy your cup of joe. Okay, bye.